As real estate professionals, we are told that if we go out and buy leads, somehow we'll figure out how to convert those leads into sales and we'll build an awesome real estate business. The truth is that model is dead. With lead conversion at an all-time low, we need to ask ourselves this question. How do we build a profitable business that has clients coming back to us, generating more repeat business and referrals, while in the meantime, increasing our lead conversion rate to be profitable on the front end? Real Insider Pro is here to help you answer that question. Hey everybody, this is Isaiah Colton with another episode of Real Insider Radio, and I'm excited today to talk to you about LinkedIn. And the reality is I'm not going to be talking to you about LinkedIn. I actually have a pro here on LinkedIn who's going to be talking to you about it. His name is Casey O'Toole. And what I like about the world of marketing is no matter how much you know, you always have to stay humble because there's always things that you don't know. There's always things changing. And the market's changing, how you do things change. And one of the things that I have as far as my personal goals is to get more into the LinkedIn world and to master LinkedIn. And I know that LinkedIn has been innovating a lot over the past couple of years. And it's a very viable tool for a lot of different things having to do with real estate. And so I'm just glad to have you on here today, Casey. You're walking us through some LinkedIn hacks.
Great. Well, definitely happy to be here. Thanks for having me on. I mean, it's definitely an interesting world. Like, I didn't expect to be this LinkedIn person. You know, it's not like I grew up like, I want to be a LinkedIn hacker or whatever. It's just
yeah.
But what I do like is I like figuring out like easier ways of doing things that typically take time, right? Yeah. And so, whether it's like voice drops or automated cold emails or text messaging or kind of ways to automate systems and integrate systems.
Yeah.
And the one that we just stumbled upon was LinkedIn. And there's ways of automating LinkedIn to generate business, whether you're looking to recruit people to your team or find more buyers and sellers. Or just generally expand your contact database, because every new connection on LinkedIn, you can gain access to their email address. So, there's lots of ways of leveraging LinkedIn, but the trick is to automate the systems, customize your campaigns, and then just engage. And it's easy to say and kind of easy to do, but
I think that at least for me, this is how Facebook was for me too. When I first kind of started learning about Facebook, it seemed really complex, right? And you start, I'm not saying there isn't a complexity to mastering Facebook, and we use Facebook to get 500 to 1,000 people at events at a time now, and but it took time to get there. And the nice thing, I guess, what I'm hearing from you is you've gone through all the headache of trying to figure LinkedIn out is kind of what I'm hearing from you. And you've figured out a process that if people can kind of use that process, it'd probably save themselves a lot of time and money than if they were just to go to try to figure it out on their own. Is that pretty much fair to say? So
everyone is a little bit averse to learning new things, right? And so I've done some of the learning for you. There's still actions and tasks that need to be done.
Yeah.
But the learning process is kind of taken out of the picture, because we know what to do. We know how to handle it really well. It's like any other channel of communication. It's like the best cold callers are the ones that understand the right scripts.
Yeah.
Anyone could pick up the phone and call someone, but if you don't have the right scripting down, the right intonations and like confidence and practice and experience, you're going to be blown out of the water by people that are calling expired every day.
Right.
They're coached by Club Wealth, and they understand exactly what to do when people object to, I'm not ready yet or whatever. So I lean on a lot of other experts to do a lot of other things, and so this is just one thing that we've become experts at and that we can help with.
That's awesome. I posted a group in my own private group, and then also a bunch of other really well-known groups. And I said, how many people are using LinkedIn to generate business? And it was interesting, the responses, because most of them were like, I'm not, but I want to know how to. And that's one of the reasons why I was excited about this podcast, because there was a whole bunch of people that
they just don't. I think there's some misconceptions about LinkedIn in general, you know? So if we could start off, like, what are some of the things that you can do with LinkedIn if you're in real estate, whether you're an agent or a team leader, you know, kind of starting from the agent level and maybe working our way up to somebody who's growing a team. If you could, we could walk through some of the ways to use it.
Sure. And so first, I want to kind of debunk one of the major misconceptions that I hear on a regular basis, because it's important, right? I mean, whenever someone asks that question on like Lab Code or Club Wealth, it's like I'm always reading through some of the responses and see what the general public opinion is. And there's always a handful of people going like, oh, I hate LinkedIn. I have a profile, but all I get is like spam messages and solicitations and like so I don't use it. And it's like, to me that's kind of funny, because it's, to me that's like saying, okay, so does that mean that you're not using your phone because you're getting cold calls from people, or because you're getting robocalls? Like, you still should use the channel of communication, even though some people don't do it correctly, right?
Right.
And then the other kind of like thing I want to tell them is like, just be discerning. You know, if someone's sending you a spam invite and in their title it says, I can get you 20 new deals in the first 2 weeks of working with me, you just ignore.
Right. 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 If it seems too good to be true, the old saying is, it probably freaking is, right?
Yeah. Just like I don't answer any phone calls that aren't 805 or like I don't have saved in my written. Just don't deal with it. Ignore them.
Right.
On the other hand, if someone's going, hey, Isaiah, like, you know, I saw your podcast on Club Wealth recently. Like, I would love to talk to you more about your business.
Yeah.
That's someone who you want to work with. Yeah. That's someone who you may want to connect with.
Right.
So anyway, so that being said, there's lots of ways you can use LinkedIn in general to create these authentic and genuine relationships that people typically don't do correctly, but we know how to do. Right. I'll first start with probably one of the more popular kind of campaigns that works, because like anything else, it's a relationship game. If you don't know how to build a relationship with a person, you're not going to be able to generate business from that person, right?
Right.
And so if you go right for the sale and don't have this person, at least don't try to make them know, like, and trust you first, you're not going to go anywhere with it. So one of our most effective campaigns is our Alumni Campaign, right? And so if you're looking for buyers and sellers, you can find people who live in your local area that you may want to work with in the future, who graduated from your same university.
Okay, you know, that makes sense.
The numbers vary, obviously. You know, if you went to UC Santa Barbara and you live in Texas, there's not going to be that many. But if you live in Los Angeles and went to USC, there's going to be tons, right?
Yeah.
So long story short is if you create a message going like, hey, Isaiah, looks like we both went to UCSB and we're local to here in Santa Barbara, would love to connect with you. That all of a sudden is like kind of taking down that wall of mistrust and building trust immediately. Then they connect, then you establish this relationship, you then offer them some sort of value, and then you can earn the right to then ask for business. And that's kind of how you do it.
Yeah, I like that, because I think what I see a lot is I don't even know this. I haven't talked to this person. Maybe I do know them, but I haven't talked to them in a long time. And they're hitting me up for something, and there hasn't been any sort of reconnection, introduction. Am I hearing you right on that? Like, is that what you're saying? Like, don't just hit people up right away. Try to establish or reestablish rapport, and then talk about business later on.
Exactly. Yeah. You want someone to know, like, and trust you. So whether you know them previously from a certain experience or not, you can, so using LinkedIn's Sales Navigator search filters, you can find that bridge and use that. So like if you're a military veteran, you can find people who are military veterans or active duty. One of our clients used to be a midwife. And so her target is healthcare people. And the way to bridge that trust is, hey, I used to be a midwife. I understand all the hard work you put into healthcare. Let's connect. Some of our clients are, you name it. So police officers, like husbands are police officers or wives are
Right.
military. My husband or wife works in the military, like would love to connect. Like anything that you can do that's not just spammy.
Right.
And with the intention of just wanting to connect and have a relationship, the better.
That's awesome. Yeah, would you say an agent, when you hear the term sphere of influence and LinkedIn and an agent trying to really tap in and do a better job of working their sphere, do those two words go together? Am I hearing you right on that? Is that what you're saying, is to use LinkedIn? LinkedIn is a viable tool to really tap into your sphere, and is another way outside of your traditional database marketing to be able to reestablish a relationship and then generate business from it.
So yes and no. So
Okay.
If they're already in your sphere,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say LinkedIn would be the best tool to reconnect with them, right?
Okay.
Because it's, so the one thing that our system can't do, you
Yeah.
can't give us a list of your sphere and say, hey, can you connect with these folks on LinkedIn?
Okay.
We're working on that. I think
Yeah.
there is a way, but it takes different integrations, and it's stuff that's kind of above my pay grade.
Yeah.
But so I wouldn't say that would be the best use case. On the other hand, it would be a good tool to increase your sphere of influence, right?
Nice. Yeah.
And so, for example, like we have a person who he created like an investor guide for doctors. And so his message is like, hey, I see you're a physician here in Santa Barbara. I just created this, really great investor guide. I know you don't have time to learn about investing like on your own. Here's a guide. Can I email it to you? And then right there, 90% of them say yes, because how hard is it to say yes to that?
Right.
And then now that person is in this sphere of influence. Now he's emailing them more information about the market, about some investment opportunities, whatever it might be. You then categorize them, tag them, and you put them into your system.
Nice. And do you have what's your recommended sequence of follow-up? Like, how does that follow-up work? Do you have a recommended sequence on how that works? And unless that's your secret sauce, I don't want to. I don't know. No. I know you have a process, so.
No, so I'm open book. I'll answer any question you have.
Yeah.
So the way that I do it, for example, because everyone has a different desire of what they want to do for a sequence. What I like to do is I like to have a 3-message sequence from within LinkedIn.
Okay.
And then bring the relationship off of LinkedIn into email.
Nice.
So the first message is the connection request. Hey, we went to UCSB. That's great. I graduated in 02. Let's connect. Or 06. Geez.
I know, right?
But then the follow-up message is like, great. When did you graduate? I'm a realtor. What do you do in town? Like whatever it might be. The follow-up message would be like the nudge in case they haven't replied. Okay, hey, just wanted to check back in. You open to chatting? And then if they don't reply, I then kind of stop LinkedIn messaging, and then they'll put like a 7-day delay, and I'll bring that person from LinkedIn into email. And we use a cold email software that just basically sends out cold emails with like 70% open rates. So the chance of them seeing your email is like really high.
Wow.
And we'll say, hey, Isaiah, I know we connected on LinkedIn. Haven't heard from you, but again, my name is Casey. I wanted to bring a relationship off of social media onto the email platform, to a more professional channel.
Cool.
Here's some more resources. No hard sell. It's like, here's a home valuation tool. Here's a list of the current market listings that are available that are the best deals or whatever. And here's like a little bit more information about me.
Cool.
Hope you're well, and that's it. And then you can do more emails or put them into like a newsletter. Yeah. But that is like the cadence that I kind of recommend, and it works effective. It's pretty effective.
I know anytime I'm considering a new marketing strategy, it takes me a good 3 to 6 months before I consider myself having given a real shot, or even not. I don't even like to use the word mastery because it probably takes longer than that. But what kind of time frame should somebody really commit to LinkedIn if they're going to do it and do it the right way?
Well, part of the real benefit is that it's an investment rather than like, just like a one-time cost, and because you're going to be building out your network, right? So I have 17,000 connections now. That's been over 2 years of like of LinkedIn prospecting.
That's awesome.
And we've closed, a number of deals through LinkedIn. And so I think there is a short play and a long play. If you have the right scripting and you have the right value, there are people who go, hey, I just moved here from the Bay Area and I'm looking to buy a house. I just got a job at Procore. Like there are like ones that are like ready to go. I would say the vast majority though are people who go, hey, thanks for reaching out. This is great. This is a great resource. I'm not ready to buy now, but keep me in mind for next year. Yep. Or like my kids are going to be moving or going to be going away to college. We'll be empty nesters looking to sell my house next year or whatever it is. And then those are more the long play. So long story short, to answer your question, I'd say a minimum of 3 months to start seeing like real traction.
Yep.
And then the longer you do it, the better it pays off. Right. So like,
and I think that's a really important message. And it's one of the things I don't think is talked enough about in our industry. I think people say it, but I just want to be like, I just try to have real talk with anyone anyone who's listening to this podcast. They know they get real talk. And the real talk is that if you really want to build what I call a power brand, a really strong brand, strong presence, whatever you're going to be doing, you can't just plan on doing it for three months, right? You can't plan on doing it for 6 months. It has to become a part of your long-term sales and marketing strategy. And that's what we preach at Real Estate Nexus it's kind of like one of our core values is that every decision that you make it for the long term. And that's how you see that, in my opinion, that's the difference between one of the big differences between agents that end up in the top 1% and agents that just seem like their production's kind of going like this, is all their decisions, it's their decision making, right? They get involved, I'll try this. No. No, like if you want to be successful in marketing, especially, you have to set it up for the long haul. And I think it's such an important message because if I would have given up on some of my marketing campaigns or strategies or vendors that I worked on just because it wasn't going perfectly in 2-3 months, then I would have missed out on so many huge opportunities in my life. I wouldn't be where I am today, And so I think the real talk is that whether it's LinkedIn or something else, if you're going to use it, you got to make sure that you have the right mindset and the decision-making process to see it through over the long term. And I'm glad you said that, Casey, because I can't stand when people, some people in our industry, it's like, yeah, you're going to change the work, you're going to, change your business in 2 months, you're going to blah, 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 right? So like, sometimes that happens in our industry, so.
Yeah, I know. So let's like dig a little deeper on that because I like that too. Because I think one of my favorite, one quote that I learned from a mentor of mine that really kind of resonated with me was, and this is when we're starting off all of our businesses. We have 4 businesses.
Yeah.
He goes like, don't be swayed by the short term, right? He goes, people overestimate what they can do or overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what they can accomplish in 5.
Yeah.
So if you have expectations of like, I'm going to crush it in my first year, or even like my first 6 months, and all of a sudden, like you don't hit those goals, you're going to be discouraged. You're going to cancel. You're going to be like, it's not going to. You don't have the right mindset for it. But if you lower your expectations and go into it with the mindset of going like, this is going to be a long-term thing, I know it'll pay off over the course of time, but I have to commit to it and run it like a business. You have to run it like you're going to be around in 5 years.
Right. Right. That's really good. I'm glad you followed up on that because that's. I mean, and by the way, you don't get to the point where you can not only run one successful business, but 4 businesses if you're thinking short term, right? Like, so you don't get to that point. So, for agents, especially if you're newer, okay, or maybe you've been in the business a long time, but you're not seeing the results that you want, I would encourage you to look at your decision-making process and look at how the commitments you're making, the way you're planning, what you're doing, how you're approaching your marketing strategy, and what it looks like over the long haul, and you'll end up farther off that way. So it's really good. So what
And
if your team, oh, sorry, go ahead.
well, yeah, no. So one last thing is like, how are you using the system? How are you leveraging it, right? So like, so it's you want to be on every channel for the long haul, right? So
Yes.
so I mean, you can use LinkedIn. You can use the data from LinkedIn to send out emails and newsletters.
Right.
And you can also even upload that email list into Facebook for, as a custom audience. And so if you use like those three channels, like for the long term, like people may not be interested in buying or selling now, but in 2 years, 3 years, all they're seeing is your stuff.
Yes.
And so they will eventually come to you. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's the power brand, right? That's what I call power brand. That's the branding effect that happens over time. And people are like, yeah, I just wish I got all this business. I just want the business to come into me. We all do, right? Of course, we all do, but you can't. It just doesn't happen overnight. You have to build it up over time. You have to build it up over time. So this is good. What about if you're a team leader and you want to use it for maybe like recruiting? Maybe let's end off there.
Yeah, so recruiting is huge. I mean, it's probably a more effective use of LinkedIn currently, just because there's so much fluctuation right now in the human resources, right?
Yeah.
People are moving out of their current areas. They can work anywhere, and they get introduced to new opportunities, these new locations. Now that you can work virtually, you can work for other companies that may not be in your desired location. There's just so much movement, which is also kind of what's driving the low inventory and the high buyer demand.
Right.
It's causing a lot of somewhat negative effects on the real estate market, but it's a huge opportunity for recruiters, right?
I didn't even think about it that way. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, and so recruiting is huge, and I wouldn't say I'm the best at it, but I think LinkedIn is the right channel to be doing it on, right? So because people are on LinkedIn, it's a professional social media source. You effectively have your resume on LinkedIn. People can see all your experience. You can get a good feel for a candidate pretty quickly. Then on top of that, LinkedIn has a lot of cool tools that you can leverage as well. So they recently implemented, about a few months ago actually, the ability to put down on your profile photo, I'm hiring, or I'm open to work.
Oh, cool.
And you can search for those folks, and people can search for you that you're hiring as well. And I mean, like I said before, we're hiring a venue manager for our event space, and I simply created a job opening, and I put down I'm hiring. Haven't put any money into it, any marketing dollars. We've gotten like 7 or 8 qualified candidates within about 3 or 4 days.
How cool is that?
Now, if you combine that with our system of that's the direct marketing.
Yeah.
It just takes it to the next level.
How cool is that?
We've had some clients use our system to actually find jobs too. So, one of my friends, she moved to LA for a job, didn't like it, quit, then she was unemployed. She's like, hey, can I use your system to the job in this sector? I'm like, yeah. I mean, so she found CEOs and HR people in the information technology sector and got a job within a couple weeks, right?
Wow, that's amazing.
And so using our system, you can then find people too. So if you're trying to build a team, you could create an opening, right? So I'm hiring for Real Estate Nexus or for whatever, and you can put that little tag on your profile. Then you can directly message people. You can find realtors, real estate brokers, loan officers, whoever you're looking to hire, and say, hey, Isaiah, not sure if you noticed, but we're looking to hire some more realtors. Not sure, I'm sure you're happy where you are. But we have so many leads and we just can't keep up. We have ISA setting appointments and we just need good people to meet with them and close some deals. I'm sure you're doing well, I'm sure you're great, but if you know anyone, feel free to reach out. Would love to talk to them. And then obviously, people would feel a little bit insecure if you're assuming that they're not doing well. And so there's a kind of a psychology there where you go hey, I'm sure you're doing great. But if you know anyone, let me know.
I like it.
And that's effective because obviously if they aren't doing great and they're well, actually I could use some help. then they'll raise their hand, right?
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I hope I'm going to make sure that my recruiting team for our brokerage goes back and listens to this, because that's some really good lingo. So that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you to Barry Jenkins, Mr. Script Master there.
Barry Jenkins. There you go. That's awesome. That's cool. So what do you see happening in the LinkedIn world? We'll end off here. What do you see happening in the LinkedIn world over the next 12 months to 24 months? Anything big coming? Any changes they're making? Anything we should be looking out for?
So one big one that they are currently in beta mode with is LinkedIn Live. And so right now it's in beta, and they are allowing like influencers and like certain people to apply to be like a LinkedIn Live beta user. I haven't applied yet. I'm kind of hesitant to, but I know people who have and who are doing it. What's nice about it is that the moment you do a live, it notifies your entire network of connections. Hey,
wow.
Isaiah's live right now. Check him out. Whatever, it's like on their notifications. And if you have notifications on your phone, then they'll be notified on your phone too. So that's a powerful tool. They'll probably start launching that for all their users fairly soon. And then I think LinkedIn's going to be heavy on HR recruiting soon. I think they're going to be. I mean, they added that new tool in the past few months. I think they're going to be pushing that. So, if you are looking to recruit, this could be a huge opportunity for you to get in early for it.
That's awesome. I'm gonna definitely make sure my team checks that out. That sounds exciting. That live feature sounds really exciting too. The fact you can ping your whole network. That's, for somebody that's an influencer, or somebody that's, even if you're an agent trying to get exposure, to, like one of the things we encourage as part of our sales and marketing plan that we train and coach, is making sure that you're doing a video at least once a week. And it sounds like LinkedIn might, in short order, might be another option to go live on, like they would Facebook. And I know there's some really cool tools that I've been using. One of them is called Restream. So I go live on some of the networks aren't really well known, but there's literally like 30 different networks that you can go live on at the same time. And you can have the same experience as like Zoom on Restream, or you can invite a guest to do that. And I've been really excited about that platform. It's allowed me to tap into multiple channels, multiple networks. You can also do multiple Facebook pages at the same time. And it's funny that you said that, because I'm like, wait a second, what's this LinkedIn? It said LinkedIn beta on there, and it must be because they're coordinating with LinkedIn with their live tools. So I'm very intrigued to check that out. So, yeah. but that, if you go live a lot, or you want to go live, I would recommend checking out Restream, because it's very inexpensive, and where you normally go live and maybe just tap into like your Facebook network, you can go live and literally quadruple the amount of exposure you're getting during that live session. And it also makes it nice, because what I used to have to do is share, take my video and then share the content, oftentimes, or recalibrate the content. And now I don't have to do that. So my marketing team loves me for it. So it's definitely a cool tool. And so, check that out if you go live a lot. So just here in 2 minutes, Casey, what's the best way for somebody to, I guess, find out more or see a demo on your service, if they want to learn more about how they can generate business and build their brand off LinkedIn?
Sure. Yeah. So thanks. So easiest is probably our website, which is mylinkedsolution.com. MYLINKED solution, singular.com, mylinkedsolution.com. And then check it out. And then if you wanted to schedule a discovery call or book a demo, you can go to schedulefreedemo.com. It'll take you right to our Calendly link. So cool. Schedulefreedemo.com, and they can check us out. But I recommend scheduling a demo, just because part of the fun of our team is like really digging into each individual's business model and seeing what sort of campaign/solution would work best for someone. So if you're looking to recruit, or what your background is, or doing to school, that's kind of like the fun part. So even if you don't even use our services, like, you should probably learn how you should approach LinkedIn, and booking a call would be the best way.
Awesome. So how do they schedule a demo again?
Schedulefreedemo.com.
Schedulefreedemo.com. That's a freaking cool domain. I like that. That's cool.
I was surprised
I can't believe it was available. Wow.
I got a lot of those because I figured, just voice is going to be big soon. So I got caseyscalendar.com as like, for to book a call with me.
That's cool.
There's a lot of things you can do with URLs, but
yeah, they're fun. We could probably talk about that, go on another 15 minutes about how to use URLs. so that's awesome. Well, the LinkedIn master himself, Casey O'Toole, we really appreciate you coming on and giving us some LinkedIn hacks. And I think that if you find this at all intriguing, make sure you check Casey out. He's one of the most credible people, if not the most credible person in this space. And I know he does right by his clients. So make sure you set up a demo with his company, check him out. In case, Casey, thanks for being on here. And I'm looking forward, I believe you're going to be training again soon at one of our up and coming events. And so I'm looking forward to that too, collaborating on our next event.
Great. Me too. Let's do it.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right, Zia. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.